Hi there, Bob Davidson here, Director of DYW West, that stands for Developing the Young Workforce West Region, and I'm based at West College Scotland in Paisley in Renfrewshire. They're our host organisation. The purpose of this video today is to talk about phone interviews and video interviews. I've already done an interview video which talks about face-to-face interviews. A lot of the content of that first video is very relevant to this one as well, so I recommend you watch that first, because a lot of the prep for an interview by phone or video is very much the same, if not identical. It's just the method of carrying out the interview that is really different. So please watch that, and it's on the DYWS YouTube channel if you want to check it out there. So let's assume you have a phone interview, and I'm going to assume it's on your mobile phone. That's the number that you have given, and that's the number the person that's going to interview you for is going to call you on. So you've probably had a text message or a phone call or an email saying you have an interview with ourselves at such and such a time, such and such a day. So you need to be prepared for that. You need to be prepared to answer questions such as, tell me a bit about yourself, what do you know about us, why do you want to work here? And for any decent employer, usually larger organisations, will have communicated with you about what the content of the phone interview is going to be and how it's going to take place. It might be a competency-based or a skills-based interview, or it might just be a general chat. Again, a good employer will probably send you an email giving you hints and tips of how to prepare, and maybe parts of their website that you can go to in terms of what's contained in a phone interview with us as an organisation. So other things you need to think about, you need to, and this might sound very obvious, but it's very easy to forget, you need to make sure you're in a place that's quiet, a quiet room in your house. You don't want your big or younger brother, sister, aunt, uncle, mum, dad, carer, whoever making a noise, the telly out loud, music playing, the dog barking. So they need to know you've got an interview at such and such a time, please be quiet. Okay, and chances are a phone interview isn't going to last that long. It's realistically going to be anything between 5 and 20 minutes. Again, the information that was sent regarding the interview should tell you roughly how long it's going to last. But for young people in their early careers, it's going to be approximately 10 minutes from my experience anyway. Other things that you need to think about, so charging your phone, okay? You need to make sure where you're going to take the phone that you've got a good signal and you've got charging your phone. Again, very obvious but very easy to forget or just take for granted, okay? And what some people do when they have an interview on the phone is that they stand up. They feel as if they sound a bit more alert, okay, as opposed to if they're sitting down slouched, they might sound a wee bit more sleepy or a bit more not as interested, and that might not really be the case. So you might want to try different things. Do I sound different standing up as I do to slouching on the sofa? Okay, so you just might want to try that and just record yourself and how you sound. And again, like I said in the interview video, you want to sound interesting. Okay, so when you're talking about yourself or giving responses to questions, make sure you're using different pitches in your response, you're using pauses, and you're not just talking all the same way like this and just, a big sort of a monologue. Okay, so you need to listen and you need to sound interested and sound interesting. Okay, and that's really important if it's for a position that you're really interested in. Okay, and all the rest is just the same as it would be if you're having a face-to-face interview. I'd recommend you have a pen and paper by your side. You might want to have the information related, some questions that you've got planned out that you want to ask written down just in case you forget. Because remember, in the phone interview, they can't see you. So what you wear is not that important. As long as it's definitely just a phone interview, you're going to be talking to them on the phone, okay? So I'm now going to switch to a video interview. So again, all the information from the interview video that I did and some of the information I've just talked about for a phone interview are very relevant. The main difference with a video interview, and again, I'm sure you know this already, they're going to see you and you're going to see them as well. So what you wear and your appearance is important, okay? So you want to be well presented, clean and tidy, not dishevelled or in a mess, or however you understand well presented and clean and tidy to be, that's important, and it's relevant to the role that you're applying for, okay? I always say for young men, for example, I always say wear a shirt and tie, no exceptions, even if they don't wear a shirt and tie in the place of work that you're applying for, okay? It shows that you're taking the interview seriously, okay? And if you're going to wear a shirt and tie, button it up. I'm dressed like this because it's lockdown, I'm at home, so I'm a wee bit more casual, so maybe I should have had a shirt and tie on for this, but I don't. And that's one of the main differences. They're going to see you, so whatever's behind you, okay, in a video interview, make sure there's nothing that's going to maybe upset the person that's videoing you, or there's like dirty dishes or dirty laundry, or if it's a poster in your bedroom that's maybe a wee bit risky, you just need to be careful with that, okay? So maybe a sort of a fairly neutral backdrop. You want to make sure there's plenty of light. So for example, where I'm sitting, I've got the window open in front of me, so it's the sun's now actually shining in. Maybe a wee bit too bright as opposed to behind you, okay? So you want to have the daylight in front of you, and make sure, again, similar to a phone interview, I've got all the windows shut, the doors shut, because even at this time of year, mobile phone, the microphones are quite sensitive, they'll pick up birds tweeting, dogs barking outside. And just like the phone interview, I've got nobody in the house, the telly's off, it's nice and quiet, and it shows that you're prepared and you're taking it seriously. For both interviews, phone and video, all the same things, you know, do your prep, have questions prepared that you want to ask, look interested, look interesting, sound interested, be polite, always looking at the phone. Ideally practice where the camera is, so I'm looking roughly where the camera is in my phone as opposed to looking at my own picture on the phone. So you need to practice looking at the phone so it makes you feel as if you're looking at the person when it's quite awkward because you're really just looking at the camera as opposed to your own image on the phone. Again, that takes practice and it just takes a few minutes to work out. Every phone is different. And I think that's me. I hope that helps you. Good luck with all your interviews. The more practice you do, that will come across. The more prepared you are, that will come across. Again, listen rather to the interview video that I did that tells you all about the STAR technique: situation, task, action, result, in terms of how to frame your responses to questions. And like I said, for the phone interview, any good half-decent employer will have shared information with you about what to expect and how to prepare for a phone and a video interview, especially for a young person in their early career. I wish you all the best and I hope you find this useful. Thanks very much for watching and listening. Thank you.